Hello, hello, hello everybody. This is Robin from Roaming with Rover. And this is Finish It Friday. Except, yeah, I know it's not Friday, but you know how it goes. I'm so excited. I have so many things to talk about. It's been a while since I've really been able to do any work with yarn. And I feel like all of a sudden I've got a lot of things that I'm working with. So super excited about that. All right, so let me show you. First, I wanted to show you, we did get some new stock. So we do have the Have Some Yarn sock sets back in stock now. And I know several of you were asking about that, and they are available. And they are also on the website. So you can go on the website, you can look around, you can order these right from the website, and then we'll get those popped right out to you. So that's the number one thing I wanted to tell you. The number two thing I wanted to tell you is we are getting ready here in the shop to do our very first knitted sock class. So that's going to be interesting. We did a very, very small class to start with, and I wanted to show you the yarn that I pulled to do that with. So I have some options. This is my first one, and this came in a kit from, I don't remember, but it's from Shirley Cat Designs. Shirley Cat Designs, and she's got really cool stuff on her website. I've gone over there and looked. This is a sock yarn. Isn't that pretty? Super pretty. I really like that one. This one is a Malabringo sock yarn that came in another kit. This one came from, you guys, you know me. But anyway, this is that yarn. It's also very pretty. And then these came from my Knit Crate kits. This one's called Happy Little Sock, and it's gray, but it's got a lot of bluish tint to it. So I thought that would be really pretty. And also another one called Superwash Sock. And this one is also from Knit Crate, and it's just a beautiful bright yellow. Those look good together. What do you think? Do you think this is, if I did the sock in yellow, do the toes and heel in gray, or is that just silliness? So here's what I was thinking. The reason that I originally wanted one of these two, and I'm still really leaning towards this one, is because I know when you're working on a project, and if the darker the color or the wilder the color, it is sometimes hard to see your stitches. And because this is a first project for me, I wanted to easily be able to see my stitches, see my heel work, see my toe work, but I don't know if I want an entire sock made out of just plain, because this is going to be a vanilla sock, so it's just straight, mostly knit. So I don't know if I want a whole sock out of just a solid color. I don't know, you guys, what do you think? What do you think? What is your opinion? I want your opinion on this. And then next week I'll show you what I ended up doing. And I'm also going to ask the sock teacher what she thinks, because it would be fun. It would be fun to work with one of these. I think that would keep my attention better since it's a very simple sock pattern. I like both of them, and I think she's going to tell me that this one is okay to work with. I think so. Jimmy Bean's wool. This one came in a kit from Jimmy Bean's. That one did. This one came in a kit from Annie's. The Annie's sock, monthly sock kit. I think theirs is actually every other month. That's what this one came from. See, at some point my brain does kick in. This is so pretty though. I'm excited to get past this first sock, to learn what I'm doing, and then use up some of these beautiful sock yarns that I have, because I've got quite a few of them. What I was surprised by though was when I started digging through my fingering weight yarns, how many of them were not sock yarns. They were merino, but they didn't have the nylon in it. So you don't want to be making socks without that nylon, because otherwise it's going to be too thin and it's going to wear. The nylon gives it strength so your heel doesn't wear out. Okay. Here's another thing that I've been working on, and this is my Rose City Mystery crochet along. I don't know if I'm supposed to show you this or not, but we're already at week 3 and I'm still working on week 1. So I feel like I can show you how much I've got done so far. Actually, I have started week 2, but it's the exact same thing we did in week 1, so I'm not going to worry about it. So it's called the Rose City Crochet Along, Mystery Crochet Along, and I had to pull. I showed you the yarn before that I pulled. It was the hand dyed. Nope, that's not it. It was the hand dyed from, I've got a tag here in the middle. High Desert Yarn. High Desert Yarn. This is a 3-weight, hand tied from High Desert Yarn. I don't think she's doing yarn anymore because I bought a bunch of hers when she was closing it out. This yarn was called Chrysanthemum. I love, love, love those colors. And I had pulled 3 of them. And I used up an entire skein before I even got through the first set, the first step. So then I went and found this yarn, which is same dyer, and this is called Marigold. And I thought that these two matched very, very well. So I'm using this to fill in for this that I'm using up too quickly. Now, to be fair, this pattern was written for fingering weight, but I asked, can I use a DK? And they said, sure, no problem. But instead of 2, do 3 skeins. I'm gonna need more than that. Because this is what we're at so far. This was the first, and of course I messed up my count, nothing new. I messed up my count, but I didn't care enough to tear it out and redo it because I'm just trying to keep up. So this is what we've done so far. Rows and rows and rows and rows of extended half double crochet, which I've never done before. And I have to really pay attention that I'm not just going boop, doop, doop. So, yeah, that's what it is, rows and rows and rows of that. And I finished clue 1. So each week we get a clue for, it's either 4 weeks or 5 weeks. I think it's 5 weeks. I finished clue 1 and then I started clue 2, which is just more of the same. But like I said, I added on this other color and I think that works fine. And then at some point we're going to work this color in with it. And again, I hope I've got enough because I only had 2 skeins. Oh no, I've got a tangle. I've got a knot. I'll work that out later. So this is going to go with this, which will look really good. The contrast there will be really good. Contrast there is really good. But I think all together, this is going to be fine. Now, y'all know we don't do gauges. We don't do gauges. However, I did do a gauge swatch on this just because we were using the different yarns. And this one works up smaller than this stuff. So I'm using 1 size hook on this and then I'm going up a hook size on that and that should even it out. So I've got 2 skeins, whoops, yep, there's my hook. I've got my hook stuck right in there. More than once I have grabbed this hook instead of the one I'm supposed to be using. So I just shoved it right down there in that ball of yarn. So I'm using an H on the main and I'm using an I for the secondary yarn. So we'll see how that goes. If I ever, I think I've got to do 3, 6, 9, 11 more rows of this, and then I switch over to the other yarn. Yep, finished working in main color, and then I'm going to switch over to the other. I'm gonna run out of this color. I'm gonna run out of this too. If I've got 11 more rows to do, so I may be looking for another color. Maybe I can find a pink, that kind of pinky color. That would be pretty. But anywho, that's where we are on that. We have finished week 1. We are getting ready, or I'm just barely started on week 2. So I've got 1, 2, 3. This looks interesting. Row 113. And when I get done with the 3rd one, we are on row 116. That's gonna be interesting. Okay, so that's going on with the Rose City. I was trying to keep up, but I really wanted to work on my other project. And then, y'all know, my friend is sick and we've been doing the chemo treatments and she's starting to lose her hair. So she asked me to make her a hat and I said, you betcha. So all of this is gonna get set aside so I can make her a hat. And I thought, I showed her the Divine hat. Now this is a free pattern. You guys can go on Ravelry and just look up Divine hat. I've already made 2 of them, so I know it works up great. It works up fast. I should have this done in a day. So I'll be able to take this to her. It only takes 150 yards. Now, when I made my first one, I remember it was too loose. And so the second time I made one, I didn't change my hook size. I just kept it the same hook size throughout the whole thing. So what I did was I pulled an H hook, which is what they would use for the ribbing, and I used it for the whole thing. Oh, I hope I've got that right. I hope I don't have that backwards. And she doesn't like wild colors. She doesn't like bright colors. So I showed her these colors that I had, and I just grabbed stuff off my shelf. This is a Brava, kind of a teal, peacock they call it, peacock blue. This is Yarn Bee Stitch Acetate in a plum. This is very soft. This reminds me of the Caron Simply Soft. This is really soft. I had a True Boo, which is a this is 100% bamboo, rayon from bamboo. Now this is a 3-weight, so I think I would, the stitches will be smaller, but I can make it, you know, just make the hat itself bigger. I think I can do that. Again, super soft. This one is a cotton linen blend from Yarn Bee, cotton linen blend. 80 cotton, 20 linen. I thought cotton would be really nice for when it's not as cold, but she still wants to wear a hat. And this is kind of a pumpkin color. They call it persimmon. So all of those are a good option. But I contacted Cascade and I said, hey, what yarn do you guys have that can be used for chemo caps? And they said, oh, this is the one we use. This is the one that's approved by the cancer people. And it's called Fixation. It's really pretty. It's got a little bit of spandex in it, which is unusual. It is 98.3% cotton, 1.7% spandex. So that's gonna give it just the tiniest little bit of give. The problem is, it's only a 50-gram ball, and it takes 150 yards of worsted weight, so it's going to take even more of a 3-weight. So I know, and they just sent me a couple of these as samples, and so I know I can't get a whole hat out of one. So I'm wondering, what do you guys think? Does that work together? I could do some stripes. I could do just the ribbing in one color. I don't even know if I have enough of this to get to the ribbing. I could do some stripes though. And now that I see it together on the camera, I think it looks okay. I had one here that I didn't even realize was the same pattern. I had one here and she did it in stripes. A friend made it for me. Miss Cynthia made this for me. And she did hers in stripes and it looks fine. See, and it's got the dark and the white and the pink. I think this would be fine if I would do this color to start, and then some of this color, and then some more of this color. I think I'd rather have this in the ribbing. So maybe dark, light, dark ribbing. What do you think? Again, I would like your opinion to see, because I would really like to use this and see how it works up. So those are my options. And you know what? If I do that, I'm going to need a different size hook too, aren't I? What size does it say? It says F to G. And I've got an H, so I'm gonna need a smaller hook to if I'm gonna use that other yarn. So I can grab a different hook for that. But I know this works up really well. It's a quick make. Yeah, I like that idea. There's not too many holes because I know that they don't like things they can see through. And I would make it just a little longer. I like this pattern, but I think it works up a little short. So that's about right though, just for head coverage, not necessarily warmth. So I want my ears covered. I like that. We have to measure this one. Okay, and the other thing that I've been working on is the sock. There's going to be a separate video talking all about the crochet along for the sock, but I am using the Olga in this pattern, this sock. I'm using, it's from Olga P-O-L-T-A-V-A. I don't want to lose my place. P-O-L-T-A-V-A. That's the sock I'm making. That's the pattern. It's available on YouTube. No, not, well, it is. There's a video on YouTube, but there's also and honestly, well, I don't know about the heel part, but the main part you could easily follow from the video. But this is a paid for pattern on Ravelry. It's not very much, like $5. And I am using my Sasquatch yarn, my Sasquatch sock set yarn, and this is where I am. I've got this much done. Almost ready to start the heel. Now let me show you this nifty tool that we got in. And this is from Twice Sheared Sheep. I know you guys have seen them before. They've got amazing items. They've got those items where you just go, why didn't I think of that? So this little ruler is called Work Until. It's a Work Until measuring tape, and we have these for sale in the store. So what you do is you attach the top of it to the beginning of your project, and if you're a knitter, you just hook that right onto your knitting needle, and it just goes back and forth on your knitting needle. I just used a stitch marker and attached it to the beginning of my project, and then you set this little slide to how big you want it to be. So I know I need 7 inches. So as I'm working, I don't have to dig my tape measure out over and over and over. It's just hooked right there attached to it, and I can see I'm almost done. I've just got a couple more rows to go. This is especially useful when you're down to those last 2 or 3 rows and you don't have to get it out every time. It's just right here attached, ready to go, and you can see where you're at on that. I think this is just the coolest little niftiest little tool, and I'm really excited. It took me, I was waitlisted for like 3 months to get these before I could get these in the shop. So we have them in the shop now. They're $10 is all, and it's just a neat little tool. So that's where I am on sock 1, and I just started sock 2. So I've just barely started my rounds. I did my toe. I wanted to get both of them done at the same time, so just about ready to start the heel, and I went ahead and started this because I can work on this when I'm talking, when we're sitting at chemo. I did most of this while we were sitting at chemo because you just go round and round and round. I didn't want anything there where I had to count or dig out a measuring tape, and now I don't have to because I've got this cool thing, and it's just all right there ready to go. Let me show you just for fun. So this is, I took the sock set and I wound it, I split it in half and I wound it. So this is this much of the first half. And this is, of course, I just barely got started on that. So this is the second half. You can tell it used up quite a bit for that. I have not started my orange yet. I'm gonna do the orange for the heel and the cuff. I chose not to do it for the toe. I wanted to see how far this would go. That's why I chose not to do it for the toe. I know it makes a large size sock and a baby sock in knit, but we all know crochet takes up more yarn than knit. So that's why I chose to do it that way. But this is my nifty little tool to see where I'm at, and I'm almost there. And that's the yarn that I'm using. And I am using my Ugly Clover that I love. I went with the 3.5. The pattern calls for, I believe, a 3.25, and I did a 3.5. And I've been trying it on my foot, and it fits very, very nicely. Yeah, they call for a 3.25. I'm using a 3.5. So I'll let you know how that goes. Although I'm setting that aside to make the hat. That's what I'm going to be working on next, or now. And then the big thing that I got used to, or not got used to, I finally got done, was the wedding shawl. Now, I'm going to insert right here some video of the wedding shawl because it is being blocked. It is still laid out on the board being blocked, so I couldn't pick it up and hold it to show you. So I'm going to insert that right now. So this is it. Can you believe it? I'm finally done crocheting the wedding shawl. I think it turned out beautiful. I thought I was going to be able to show it to you guys today, but it is still drying. As you can see, I just threw it in the washing machine. I washed it on delicate cold, and I used a few drops of LOC. And now I have, look how big that thing is. I have it laid out to block it. And it ended up being, so these squares are about 1 foot long. 1, 2, 3, 4, so 8 feet long. And then when I'm done with this, I will sew the cuff up probably to about right there. And let me show you the beautiful buttons that I got to put on it. Okay, so I went to the bridal shop where she bought her gown, and I was going to get, it was a suggestion from Miss Sue to go there and get the buttons, some of the buttons that she had on her dress. And I did that. I called them, and they were very, very kind and let me come in. The problem was they were fabric covered buttons, and the color of the fabric was not, it was just too white compared to the fabric of the yarn. And I was afraid that it would look just a little bit off if I did that. The shawl looks fine up against the dress, but having those buttons on it just didn't look right. So what I was able to do, and I hope you can see them because they're really small, what I was able to do was to get these little bitty pearls. They're little pearl buttons that I will sew on to at the sleeve. And they're just decorative buttons. They won't be for real buttoning, but I'll sew 4 of them right here on that cuff on each side. And I think that's gonna look really pretty. So she's getting this in a couple weeks, and I'm super excited because she doesn't know what's coming. And it is an evening wedding in the spring, so you know how that can go. So that's why I did this. What do you think? Isn't that just gorgeous? Gorgeous. I'm so excited. I made my deadline, even though the deadline got moved up. So this weekend, I'll get those cuffs sewn up and it's done, and I can wrap it because it is a gift. And I'm very, very excited about that. So what do you think? I have a lot going on, as always, but I feel in control. A lot of times when I've got this much stuff going on, I feel like I'm not in control. I feel totally in control right now. And we shall see. So be looking for the announcement video about the crochet along, and that is going to start late February, after Valentine's, late February. And let's see if I can get this thing on here right. Here we go. I had it backwards. So I'm very, very pleased with how this is turning out. I think it's so cool, and I love this little tool. I think this thing is just so cool. I'm very excited to be making my first pair of crocheted socks. Been afraid of socks, and here I am right now doing a knit one and a crochet one at the same time. It's going to be interesting to see the differences and see how it goes. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Please look out for the announcement of the crocheted sock along that we're doing in February. It's not real official. We're going to be doing live, so we'll be working on them at the same time. We'll be working on it together. So that's where I'm at on my first sock. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you soon. Please like, please subscribe, and I'd appreciate it if you'd share this around a little bit. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Test, test, test. Can I flip this around while I'm videoing? I don't think so. No, I cannot. Okay. But I can do a little short video of that one and then graph them together. That I can do.